Jazz. 88.3 in the new jazz thing. Music there from Wayne Riker and his new disc, Groovin with the Top Brass, and the trumpeter on that may sound familiar to you. It's Gilbert Castellanos. Joining us in the studio tonight to chat about the new release is guitarist Wayne Riker. Wayne, it's great to have you back here on the new jazz thing. Would love to have you here. So, welcome back.
Thanks for the invitation back, Vince. Great to be back home here again.
So then let's chat a little bit about this new release, Groovin with the Top Brass. What an interesting concept where you have taken some of the best in San Diego music and have paired them up with your own original compositions. Where did you get the idea for this?
Well, like each annual CD that I've done with the electric ones, this is my 5th one since 2010, as you know, and they all kind of have a theme, and most of them are inclusive of individual musicians coming in, playing my original compositions, but most importantly, getting great musicians who are also great people with high musical IQs and that can come in and feel completely free. In other words, I write the melodies, I write the chord pattern, give them the head, what we call a head chord chart, and from there they basically create the track with their improvising, and you know, they're free to roam as far as the compositions go. And that way you get the best out of each musician, kind of like in a musical theater where a director lets the actors, you know, improvise away from the script. You have a script you're reading from, then you get the best out of the actors as they improvise. So you'll get different interpretations of the same characters in each show. So same with the musicians. They come in, they can really create their own personalities in each track.
So, was there a core set of musicians, a rhythm section that you used throughout? Some folks that you've played with before?
Absolutely. I'll give you a quick synopsis of everybody.
Yeah.
It's 6 tracks, and the rhythm section, I used 2 different bass players, 3 acoustic bass tracks from Rob Thorson, who, you know, everybody knows here in town, a wonderful acoustic bass player. And then Harley Magsino I used for the electric tracks on 3 of them. You just heard him there on the on Gilbert's track, Street Struttin'. Harley I've known since the early 2000s. We were both teaching at a workshop up in Los Angeles. So I met him about 12 years ago up there. Gilbert is actually kind of the young lion along with Harley on this particular CD. And, you know, I've known him now for a couple of years, and obviously great reputation. It was great to have him on the project, and I love his tracks, a lot of spirit in it. And then I got my brother Walt to play drums, and that's an interesting story because he and I grew up together in New York City, and he was my big musical influence growing up in the early to mid 60s, and he was in a band and was in really good bands for a number of years, and then we played in a show band together out in near the Kansas City area. And in the mid to late 70s, he went on to a couple of different careers, but he kept his drum chops up. So this has been a really cool, kind of sentimental, full circle journey for us, as now almost 40 years later we're here, and I'm very proud to have him inclusive on all 6 tracks. He did a great job too.
Well, let's play a little bit more music then, and maybe you can tell us about the artist that's featured on this one. A couple of them. You've got Rob Thorson on bass, and then April West on trombone on your composition Funny Bone Stomp.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I neglected to mention Fred Lanuza, who plays keyboards, and he's on all 6 tracks on the rhythm section. Sorry. And Fred and I go back to 1989. We were I did 8 years in the guitar chair for the San Diego Repertory Theater from 1989 to 1996, and Fred was also doing a lot of the musicals, rock and jazz musicals that we did down there. So Fred and I became really connected at the hip, and we've done a lot of gigs together, and he was on Penumbral Sky as well, and it was really great to have him on this as part of the rhythm section. April West I've known since the mid-'80s. I was in a group called Stone's Throw, and our kind of sister group was Tobacco Road, which featured Sue Palmer and Sharon Shuford and April West, and so we've all known each other for many years now, since the mid-'80s, and it was great to have April come in and do those great trombone phrases, and it's a great kind of second line type tune. So really like this one.
Well, let's check it out. We're chatting with Wayne Riker. His new disc is called Groovin with the Top Brass, and this is a feature for trombonist April West called Funny Bone Stomp on the New Jazz Thing, Jazz 88.3.
Indeed, it's the Funny Bone Stomp. A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Rob Thorson's so solid.
Oh yeah, he's he's so musical. It's amazing. It's a nice mix too with the bass, because sometimes a lot of jazz stuff the bass gets mixed low and
Yeah.
can't hear it, but
Yeah.
it came out really well.
Jazz 88.3 in the New Jazz Thing, and that's music there called Funny Bone Stomp, an original composition from the leader of the Wayne Riker Mob. The new disc is called Groovin with the Top Brass, and Wayne Riker joins us this evening. Wayne, thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Absolutely, and I must point out that I think I heard you on that track, and I believe you have a credit on this CD. Should you use a common interview process? I'm going to reverse the interview. Vince, could you comment a little bit about your appearance here in this disc?
Well, I have to say, this was a very unique experience for me. I don't think I've ever been brought into a CD after it's almost been all made, but and to provide some of the party atmosphere. But it was a great hosted little jazz party that you had for us to listen to and add a little bit of fun to the disc. And I wanted to ask you about that. This seems like one of a project where you really wanted to kind of play up the fun angle, and that this was happening music. That you wanted to feature that, and so you did with some of the vocal parts, the introductions and such, and adding that crowd scene. Tell us a little bit what you were looking for in that area.
Well, you hit the nail right on the head. Some of the mainstream jazz stuff is great, and there's always some great playing and great arrangements, but a lot of times, how many versions of Here's That Rainy Day can you hear in all different fashions? And so on this project, I wanted to get these 6 great player guests to come in. Each one injected a certain personality into each track, and it's got a great live vibe to it, and everybody had a good time. And it's, hey, we're human beings making music, and here's how we're doing it, and here's how people are reacting in the studio. And it was so much fun to have each track a refreshing, kind of a high-spirited, high-energy track with the musicians just playing out, almost like, fifth set at 98 Bottles or something,
Right.
and everyone's, just getting down. And that's, to me, what a lot of jazz music is people having fun. So each of these tracks is really fresh, and I wrote each track around the personality of each player. I could have interchanged any of them easily. I mean, Laurie Bell could have played on Gilbert's track, and Gilbert could have played on Bill Shree's track, and so on and so forth. So all these were interchangeable parts, but I purposely wrote to each player's sort of strengths and to what I thought would really come out in good high spirit and open free improvising. So it's a real fresh CD, 35 minutes long, so it's not, you know, too long either, which I think is another good point.
So you seem to be on a roll here in the 2010s, that you know, putting out, as you said, a disc a year. And do you have there seems to be some urgency to what you're doing? You know, tell us a little bit about what's motivating you to kind of keep this momentum up.
Well, when I was 17 years old, I sat down and I made a list of a half dozen goals I wanted to accomplish, and I've accomplished all 6 of them. So I made that list when I was 17, and here I am, almost a half century later, getting to accomplish all those goals by 2008. And the last one on the list was to record my own instrumental music and get it out and get it, you know, get it out to the world as best I could. So that was sort of the last thing on the list to do. Now everything's sort of extra innings, and so I guess there's some urgency to it. But you know, along the same lines too, I'm sitting down to write my memoirs, which are going to be out in a few years, which is going to be called 50 Years, 50 Bands, 50 Stories. And it's really going to cover everything from my days playing in Greenwich Village to the heyday of the Jersey Shore to all the gigs I did for a decade in the Midwest, and then 34 years out here really playing in every situation, from Yale Strom gigs in the early 80s to you know, Shep Meyer's big band gigs, and I mean, I've been on every musical trench and every musical stage. So it's going to be quite a bunch of memoirs and great stories, and a lot of them are, you know, going to be some war stories, but it's going to be really cool.
Excellent. Well, tell folks where, as we, you know, one of these goals is to get these out to people. Where can they find out more about you and how to get these this discs? You're doing kind of marketing and distribution yourself through some various channels. So tell folks where they can be looking to find the releases.
Right, right. Well, first of all, you can find me every day. I'm at Starbucks store 5679 in Solana Beach, and come say hi. I'm there usually most of the day, hanging out, and I'll tell you a lot about what I'm doing and what's happening. But also you can go to my website, which is WayneRikerGuitar.com. But as we were discussing earlier, really the best way to, you know, get this great CD is to just download it on iTunes. It's available on iTunes and Rhapsody, and it's CD Baby. And I think nowadays people are, you know, just very comfortable downloading MP3 files, which is great. And I want to get the music out. I think that's the best vehicle for it. So, you know, at 99 cents a track, and I think you do the math here, it's $5.94. It's very feasible to do, and I'd really love for everybody to get this. It's a great product and a great representation of so many great San Diego musicians on it.
Well, then we're going to hear some of those, if not all of them, here on this last tune. We've got the last tune on the disc queued up, and this is All Aboard Blues. Any thoughts on the composition or the tune or the playing?
This is great because it has everybody on board. It's almost 9 minutes long. Everybody gets to solo, and I should mention Bob Campbell, who he and I have played together since the mid-'80s. Bill Shreve as well since the mid-'80s, and, you know, band gigs and casuals. And Lori Bell I've known since the mid-'90s. What a magnificent player she is. And we did a wedding together, and that's how we met, playing a duo at a wedding. And make sure I get everybody covered here. Oh, and then Troy Jennings, when I was playing with Shelley Blue in the Gas Lamp from 99 to 03 at Croce's Top Hat, the old blues bar, Troy was playing baritone sax over at Patrick's. And the musicians would kind of go through that back alley, and we'd like trade members of the band from Croce's to Patrick's. You know, people wouldn't even know. And that's how I, you know, played with Troy a couple of times, and I think I got everybody covered on there.
I think you did.
And so this is a great feature with everybody. It's sort of a jump blues thing, and you'll hear the spirit in this, and I won't give anything else away, but there you go.
Well, Wayne, as usual, it's been great to have you here. Good luck with in the future with getting this disc and your others out, and with your memoirs and any other projects. And how far is San Diego State going to go in the tournament?
This is the toughest. You know, I've been to almost every home game since 1981, and this is the toughest one to predict. They could be out immediately in the first game, or they could get through to the Final Four. It's just a complete mystery this time. Usually each year you kind of know. This one's really tough, but you know, obviously we're hoping at least get to Anaheim for the 16 and hopefully the Final Four.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Wayne, and really look forward to seeing what else you got coming at us in the future. But congratulations on Groovin with the Top Brass.
Thank you, Vincent. Thanks for having me on once again, and hopefully see you next year with another one.
Excellent. Wayne Riker here on the New Jazz Thing from his new disc, Groovin with the Top Brass. This is All Aboard Blues on the New Jazz Thing, Jazz 88.3.
All aboard. It's the All Aboard Blues. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Excellent.
Yeah, that was fun.
Fantastic. Thank you, Wayne.
Good. I'm glad we gave you credit there for that.
Oh, no. That was good.
That was good.
That was really good. We did that well.
Yeah, right. That's just.
All right.